What is up, guys? Welcome back to the video. Today's going to be all about the Ariel Rider X Class. It's going to be a one-year review talking about the things I've changed over the course of a year, why I've changed them, and what I still think my favorite feature is about this bike, since this thing is 1 year, over 1,000 miles put on this bad boy. So without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so Ariel Rider offers several different bikes on their lineup. Actually, two configurations of the X Class. This is the X Class 52 volt, first generation. They also offer a 48 volt with a single drive motor. So what's the difference here? You have a single drive motor on the X Class, a dual drive motor on the D Class, and a dual drive motor setup on the new Grizzly. Well, they have two versions of the Grizzly, a 750 watt motor setup on the first gen, and now a 1,000 watt motor setup on the second gen, which I have, and I'll list it up in the card in the top right hand corner if you guys want to watch that video all about the Grizzly. Now I have over 1,000 miles clocked on this bad boy on the original set of tires. Now a lot of you guys are probably wondering how the original set of tires have lasted so long, over 1,000 miles. That's because a lot of my mileage isn't on asphalt or concrete. A lot of it's on gravel, a lot of it's on grass, and just all-terrain style of riding. Now over the 1,000 miles, there has been some wear and tear on the bike. Not only just wear and tear that you normally see on the bike, but wear and tear of my own devices. Basically, me failing and throwing the bike, such as the clip you see right here. Oh my God, that thing got away from me. All right, we're still good. Lost the brake, but we're good. Now that clip resulted in me fixing the rear brake, as you see right there. I just screwed it right back on there, and yeah, it works. Now there's a lot of electric bike channels out there that do stuff on Ariel Riders, especially like customization. So I know you guys are probably cringing when you just saw that crash, but I mean, I try to ride the bikes to their full potential, and that's kind of the reason why I like to put out videos like this, to be able to give you guys the perfect perspective on kind of what to expect with your purchase. And when you're purchasing an X Class, they're not too cheap, but you're also getting what you pay for. You're getting a high quality bike. So in my opinion, 1 year later, this thing has definitely held up to its own. And me putting it through its paces like that, I feel like will give you the best perception on what to expect when you're getting a bike like this. All right, so let's talk about the most noticeable change I did on the bike. The handlebars, stem, and grips combo you see here. Now, this handlebar and stem is off a previous BMX bike that I was riding at the time. The grips are off of my mountain bike. These are my old grips right here. These are Chromag mountain bike grips. The handlebars are a Snafu BMX Jackson handlebar, 9-inch rise with a profile Mark Mulville stem. So it has a 53 millimeter reach going outwards. Now, why did I go out with a further reach? Well, that's because the first thing I noticed when I rode the bike was it felt too much like a crotch rocket for me, and I wanted to have something that stood up a little bit higher, kind of basically kept me away from the handlebar just in case I wanted to jump it. I didn't want to be too close to the stem or risk going over the handlebars. So as you see here with the original set of handlebars, it came with more of a lower set of handlebars as well as an adjustable stem. Now the adjustable stem can be pretty dangerous if you ever plan on jumping it, and I love jumping all my bikes. And with that being said, I wanted to put on a BMX setup knowing that it would last. Now this thing was really easy to install. I have an install video I'll put in the description below if you guys want to see that, as well as other BMX stuff I did on this thing. I actually attached a bike rack on the back there, and that allowed me to be able to attach my BMX bike on the back of it. Let me show you these clips right here. there's the holes right there, one there and one there. That allowed me to be able to have that one-up bike rack on the back here. Now, it did give me some side-to-side weight, which felt like it'd be an issue, but I think I got used to it pretty quick, and I think it looked pretty cool going to the skate park or wherever else I took my BMX. Now, overall, looking at this bike, it looks like it's in great shape, and one of the most common questions I get is, how do I wash it? To be honest with you, I just put my hose on shower mode and I wash it with the hose like that. I don't put any direct water into the gear or the hub or into the bottom bracket or headset, anything that has bearings. I don't put any direct water or pressure into those areas. I usually wipe those down with, a sponge, and then I'll dry it off with a towel and it's good to go. And one thing also to note is I take the battery off when I am washing it. That way I can get in there, get any grime out if there's any connection issues. I'd rather get a hold of that while I'm washing it versus have that an issue on the road. Now, the only rust I've ever had was on the bolts, and that's from taking the bike down to the beach. And yeah, I mean, I take pretty good care of this, but also use it to its full potential. Now, I want to leave a lot of this bike stock, such as the shock in the rear and the shock in the front, for the first year, because I want to make sure what this thing was fully capable of, just to see if you guys were actually getting your money's worth with this suspension setup. Now, a lot of people swap out the rear and the front suspension as soon as they get the bike because they want to not only customize it for themselves, but they're not too keen on the suspension that it comes with. But to be honest with you, I've had no issues, as you can see here, with the first initial jumps, and since it's still riding here a year later. Now, again, you've seen this bike take hard falls, and to be honest with you, the only real issue I've had with this bike not only was the brake area, but I fixed that by just screwing it in there, but was the pedal. You can see the pedal is crooked. That is because that's stripped out inside of the crank arm, which I have a fix for that. I'm actually going to be doing a video on that here in a couple of days, but I want to show you the issue I had with it, and that's most likely because of the crash that you saw with the jump. Now, other notable wear and tear on this bike will be brake rotors and brake pads, but like I said, I really rarely used this bike on the streets, so I really didn't have to hit the brakes except for if I ended up coming up on a turn too hot. So with that being said, these brake pads are the originals. Over the first year, over 1,000 miles are on these brake rotors and brake pads. Now, I do maintain and take care of my bikes, and over the course of the year, I did tension the cables on the derailleur and the whole shifting system, because you want to keep up on that, because if you don't, you end up skipping gears while you're trying to pedal, if you even use that as a feature. I feel like a lot of people, when they get these type of electric bikes, they very rarely ever pedal, and this isn't the most comfortable bike to pedal. It's more of a fun bike, throttled around, and that's mainly what I use it for. One thing I've been really lucky with this bike is no flats over the course of a year, believe it or not. I see a lot of people on the forums get flat tires with these. They pick up nails, screws, or even bigger objects than that in the tires. Now, I have Tannis armor in my Grizzly tires, still have never gotten a flat with that. I don't know if I need to put them in here. I might put them in here just for the heck of it, but there are other options out there, such as slime, and I've actually done the pool noodle method. So if you can get a pool noodle or maybe like insulation piping, you can actually wrap that around a tube and do something very similar to Tannis. It's kind of like basically your cheap hack in order to not get a flat anymore. Now, after 1 year, I still am thoroughly impressed. This is one of the most affordable and best electric bikes on the market. I've not had any battery issues, no electrical issues, no flat tires. The only thing I've swapped out was the handlebars and stem. I try to keep this bike as stock as possible for an entire year to give that full year perspective for you guys and what to expect. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people swap out these parts as soon as they get the bike, and you don't really have that full-on perspective of kind of what to expect as a buyer. So with that being said, this is the Ariel Rider X Class 52 volt. If you guys have any other questions on this bike, you want to see other things you want me to add to it finally after 1 year, put those comments below. I have other videos coming out this week featuring other electric bikes, some BMX bikes, as well as some skate park footage. So with that being said, if you guys have any other suggestions for future videos, put them in the comments below. If you guys like this video, drop a like. If you love it, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one.